Welcome back, Nerdiverse, to another star-studded episode of the 2026 MOTN Presents Random Select, where the Nerdiverse, continuum chooses at random films that we will pit against each other in a death match and see throughout the Random Select tournament who comes out on top. I'm, of course, your host, Mike G. And with me is your host with the most, the strong man himself. Wash, what's going on, sir?
What is up? Glad to be here. Fight night again.
Ding
I
ding.
love a good Nerdiverse fight night, especially when we have a decades battle and you can literally see the decades kind of like the time capsule. And that's kind of what this has turned into for me already. We're only 4 movies in out of 8, but it's like a time capsule of like my childhood that you don't see anymore. Like you can't get films like these made anymore.
No.
In fact, I had a great idea that some inspiring young filmmaker out there, really should go back. Take a look through the archives of the 70s and 80s and take some of these movies that may not be great quality and go ahead and shoot that thing on an iPhone. Same
Why not?
same thing. Yeah, bro, same thing, man. And it's like, oh, you know what you did? That's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
You can take a GoPro and just make the Bimini code like today, dog. In a weekend, you could make the
Correct.
Bimini code on a GoPro in a dream. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? And you may just end up back. You may end up being the next backrooms guy.
You don't
You
know,
don't
and
know.
that's why I'm saying, if you take a look back at some of these ideas that you're just not going to see pop up any longer, like, yeah, I mean, why not? I'm not saying copyright, folks. Go get the correct permissions, do things of that nature. But yeah, I'm sure they don't care. You want to remake the Bimini code?
I'm
Lights out,
sure they'll
bro.
be okay.
Lights
I'm,
out.
I'm almost positive they'll be okay. Look at these two photos, bro. Time capsule, right? Like one couldn't be more 80s and one couldn't be more 90s.
What is Madam X? Where's that photo from?
I don't.
That's
That's part of my anyway. We'll get into that's part
Thank
of
you. Okay.
that's part of Banimi code. So what are we doing? Not to rehash this every single round, but we're taking action movies. The focus of this year's random select is action movies, 90s versus 80s, and we're actually getting a 90s versus 80s duel today with Only the Strong 1993, I want to say, and the Mamimi Code 1983, 10 years apart. Wash, are you excited for tonight's episode?
I am very excited for tonight's episode. My experience with both movies, I think I had seen Only the Strong back in the day, but the Mamini Code I had never heard of, much like our earlier film, our first round film, Cage. So it's
Cage.
always nice to get in there and see something new and, something that was floating around when I was around and I just had no idea that it existed. So I'm excited to talk about them. It was kind of a fun watch, and yeah, I'm excited to hear your thoughts about tonight's random select. And just as a disclaimer, I think you are well within your right to explain what the f is going on here, because people just clicking into this video are like, "What am
What's
I
happening?
watching? What is that?"
What kind of
So,
content have I come across? You know what I
yes.
mean?
So, you're within your right, my friend.
I promise you, hand to the nerdiverse, no one is doing that. No one on the entire internet is doing a Only the Strong versus Babimi Code matchup. I can promise you that. That's
I
the
would
type of bespoke content you get from Masters of the Nerdiverse, bro. I'm just
I wouldn't be
saying.
surprised this year if no one's doing content on these two. So,
I wouldn't be surprised this decade if anybody's talking about these two films. But they're time capsules, right? That's what has me excited about this is that one film I was very fond of kind of as a kid, not very fond, as much fondness you can get from this kind of film. And another film I just literally never heard of, so much like Cage. So I was very curious to find these. All The one thing I love about these is that these movies are so easy to find on YouTube for free. Just type in the name, they'll pop up. Watch the cheap version. Don't watch some weird Blu-ray 4K version. No, watch them how we watched them. It's a whole experience.
You absolutely can, and to be fair, I would have rented either one of them, but I did not find either one of them available for actual rent.
Yeah.
Amazon Only the Strong was not like in my region, and I was like, oh,
What? That's crazy.
okay, fair enough, whatevs. And the Bimini Code, I mean, if you're one of the few that has that on a VHS somewhere, you know what I mean? You may want to put the thing up on eBay. It might be worth some money because it is a hard find, hard find. So, but yeah, I
If
watched them on YouTube as well.
if you got copies of the Bimini Code at the house, find a way to send that to us. Send it to us via Instagram. Send it to us via X. Send it to us via YouTube. Because I don't believe you. I don't. If you're the person that says, "Yo, this is my grandma's favorite movie," you're a liar, dude.
Uh,
Send me proof. I want receipts for Bimini Code.
One of the reasons I sell things in Rebels Collectibles Archive, Wash's shop, go check it
Do
out
it.
on eBay,
Do it.
is because every movie is someone's favorite movie. It
1,000%.
does not matter. The Bimini Code has a couple of followers out there, and I'm sure there are some people that will fight you on Only the Strong. Like, yeah, bro,
I will
get
fight
off me. Get off me.
you. I will fight you.
So everybody has a favorite movie.
You know what's crazy is when we were doing our watch back Wednesdays, 12 p.m. 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Literally, we were talking about Cage, and a new visitor literally just hopped in the chat, screamed Cage, and broke out. I was just like, yo, what the hell? Did you notice that?
No, I missed that.
Yes. Some
That's
random viewer hopped in, got hyped for Cage, and never said another word. Like,
that's hilarious.
what? Okay, Cage is real. I knew Cage was real. So
Yeah, bro. Like
I think we got a follower that day.
and I told you that the comments on Cage, like there are some Cage followers out there that are
Cage
like, yeah,
heads,
bro,
man.
get off me. Like I
Cage.
I role play as Cage.
For
All right.
Halloween, I'm gonna be Cage.
Don't
That's
do that,
crazy.
bro.
No, that's a hate crime, actually.
Like
That's probably a hate crime. I'm Cage. Yo, you tripping, bro. I'm calling the police, dog. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of which, speaking of policing things, are you ready to get this episode started?
I am, my friend. I am with a little bit of a dance. I am.
Little bit of a meme, a little bit of a you know what?
Capoeira.
I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold
Yeah.
it. I'm gonna hold it
All right.
because I'm too hyped. So the rules, real quick. So we're just two of us, and there's two movies, right? So, well, how this works is that me and Wash are gonna debate both movies. We're gonna talk about them, what we love, what we hate, and somebody's got to win. So, on the off chance I pick Only the Strong and he picks Bimini Code, we're rating these movies individually, unbeknownst to each other. We don't know each other's numbers from 0 to 10. And depending on whose number is larger for that respective movie, that movie will win. So if I pick Only the Strong and Wash picks Bimini Code, I give Only the Strong a 7. He gives Bimini Code a 6. Only the Strong wins. Just from fair split before can't cheat point. Did I explain that correctly, Wash?
That is very fair and a very well done explanation.
Perfect. So let's get started. Let's get ready to rumble. Before we get started, I always would like to let everyone know to please like the content. If you like the content, we're trying to grow the channel here. Subscribe so that you're made aware when new content goes live on the channel. And comment. Let us know your thoughts. Are you the Bimini Code head who has all signed copies of Bimini Code in the cut? I want to see it. I want receipts. So remember to, if you're a fan of the channel, be a fan of the channel. Hype us up. Ready to get into our first movie, Wash?
Yes, I am. I don't even know what's coming, so surprise me.
Haha. Surprise! It is Bimini Code. 1983, directed by Barry Clark. Two female adventurers travel to Bermuda Triangle to search after a young boy who has disappeared mysteriously. That's not what the movie's about. Wash. My question to you. is what is the plot of Bimini Code?
That is the plot of Bimini Code. The Bimini Code is a ancient code, which was I couldn't remember which Plato. I don't know who
Some
did
kind
it.
of Socrates
Like
or something.
like Da Vinci. Somebody had done this code, and so they had like any great adventure, uncharted type game, they had uncovered, oh well, this is where the treasure is, and that is the actual Bimini code.
The
I've
Bimini
said
Code.
I don't say it correctly anytime, so
Mm-mm.
I just started calling it the code just today. I was like, so the code.
The
um
Code.
that is what it is. And you know what? Like any great adventure movie, it was a tad bit washed over, but I also want to make a point to you saying watch it on YouTube. I did see a trailer of this, and it was a super clean trailer, unlike the YouTube video, and it actually looks super good. So,
Hmm. Okay.
I thought that was interesting when you pair it with what the story was about. Not that, I mean, dialogue wise, this thing was 20 pages, 25
Hot
pages
a hot
max.
20. A hot 20. Maybe 15.
it Not a lot of words.
In a
So
90-minute movie,
in a
you
90
know?
minute movie. But yeah, that's it. Did have a plot. They did follow the plot. There was a lot of action going on. So my initial thoughts on it. Well, but
Mine
you didn't like the plot?
I gotta tell you, man, this movie is like anti-Cage, dog. This movie is like this movie is you know how there's the Flash and then there's like reverse Flash? There's Cage and this is like reverse Cage to me, dude. This movie is so manic. It feels like it was on this movie needed like Adderall. You know what I mean? This movie needed to chill out and kind of follow a through line because the way it's edited is so choppy. I can't tell what's going on, and I lose attention, and I'm locked in. I'm literally just staring. I'm not even eating my dinner. I want to know what the plot is, and it just kept changing. It kept moving, and it kept. All right, we're following this kid. All right, the kid's out of here. All right, now we're gonna find the secret map. Where's the secret map? The ocean. Okay, guess what? I got this brand new scuba gear. I want to show off the scuba gear so bad. Let's make a movie where I get to just show off my scuba gear for 90 minutes, and it's so sick. Check it out.
Okay. Yes.
Am I wrong?
Yes. Yes. A little bit. Let me fill in a couple bit of the holes, because yes, it wasn't it wasn't necessarily edited the best, but I was trying to take a look back right now at my notes, and of course I'm not able to bring them up. But what I wanted to do is first I want to give a little bit of credit to the code, right?
Okay.
1983 action movie. I'm gonna try and convince you and turn you around a little bit, because I
Okay.
can hear it in you, anti-cage, and I
It's
get
the
it. But
anti-cage.
at the exact same time, like, a lot of it, and folks, a lot of it is taking place in water, underwater. You're right. Someone got some cool scuba gear. They're like, let's go shoot a film. I got this great script. Let's go do it. We got the two honeys. We got the big dudes. Let's go make a movie.
We got babes, we got bikinis, we rented out
We
a
got a
boat,
sailboat. Yeah,
we
we
got an
let's
eye
go.
patch.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
let's go
saying?
make a movie. So
Let's go make a
I
movie.
I credit them with that, but when you look at the action part of it, right, and you say anti-cage, in a, not the traditional sense of action perhaps, but a lot of this filming is action filming. In 1983, scuba isn't, everybody
Cuba's
isn't
super in.
necessarily scuba diving. Gear isn't super safe. They were underwater for quite a bit doing some
Mhm.
things
There were
underwater, and
there were
it's like,
kids
no,
underwater.
they probably risked life and limb a little bit in 83 because it's kind of janky. It's low budget, which I think is done on purpose. I mean, obviously, look at it. It's supposed to kin back to some of the great spoofs of the 60s and 70s, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. But I also wanted to throw out some of its predecessors, which, like Copper Mountain, 1983, Jim Carrey, ski movie, comedy, Apocalypse Snow, skateboarding, because skateboarding, this is kind of how I was looking at this film, as an action sports film. That's
Mhm.
that's
Okay.
where this falls, right? Because it's like action film. How is this action? Well, action in the way it's shot. And so you think about some of the great skateboarding films, and I pulled one up from 1986, Thrashing, Josh Brolin.
Thrashing rules. Yeah.
It rules, right? So I'm sure that there are a ton of scuba heads out there from the 70s that are like, yo, bro, Bimini Code 1983, some of the best stuff on film
Some of the
when
best
it
scuba ever,
you're
bro.
right, when it comes to showing techniques and things of that nature. So I want to defend it a
Okay.
bit.
I got a scene for you, and this scene broke me because I was like, "What is actually happening?" So one of the Bimini twins, the red, there's a redhead and a blonde who are like the Bimini, like Charlie's Angels, right? I'm gonna call them the Bimini Angels. Bimini Angel 2 is on a motorcycle or some kind of vehicle being chased by a cop by a chopper, right? It the editing doesn't know how to handle what's happening. So she's literally on a bike. The dude is shooting at her with like a machine gun from the helicopter. She falls off the side of the road. She's hanging off the side of a mountain with the water, right? The editing goes in this order: machine gun, chopper, face, foot, water. Machine gun, chopper, face, foot, water. Machine gun, chopper, face, foot, water. But machine gun, it is doing it so quickly that I'm like, I'm starting to get a headache. Like, can she just die? Is it, like, can she just fall? And she does fall, but she's okay. And I'm like, what is up with this editing, bro? Like, it's
I,
so
I
so
didn't even notice it.
watch that scene. It is insane. They don't let anything sit for longer than, I would say, 3 seconds. It's like it's scooping and it keeps rotating in that actual rotation. And I'm like, I don't want this anymore. I just want her to, I want that chopper to explode or her to fall or something crazy. Um, I did think this was fun. I'm not gonna just, this isn't me tearing this down. I do like that Cobra is in this movie for some reason. Like actual just Cobra from G.I. Joe is in this. I was waiting for the main villain to break out like a weather dominator or something like that, because you totally get the female Cobra commander petting the evil cat in her lair type vibe, and that's fun. I'm not gonna knock that kind of vibe, but
Madam X.
Madam
Well, I'm
X,
I'm assuming that's who you had on the cover, right?
mom, I'm thinking about, she was blonde. She was like
Yeah,
wearing black all the time with an eye patch. That
yeah,
wasn't the
that
same
Madam
person.
X. Yeah, that's Madam X. They didn't really, again, plot a little thin, so they
Mhm,
didn't
mhm.
really explain what her entire backstory was. Just that she was after the waiting on the um, the heroes of the film to go find the treasure so that they could take it. So, but I like the Cobra Commander throwback. I hadn't considered it. I thought she was just
Yeah,
a weirdly placed like figure
because
with no explanation. It's
she had
like,
goons, bro. She had goons that would kidnap them and they would get away, constantly. Like, it was just like, I was like, this is G.I. Joe. I'm waiting for Snake Eyes to show up. You know what I mean? Um, what was I gonna say? This feels like, you ever heard of the Giallo, which are like the Italian horror films, Mario, you know what I'm saying? Like
no.
Dario Argento, Suspiria, you know what I'm
I
saying?
know Suspiria. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Suspiria.
This feels like an action film made in Italy. Like, there's no like full frontal or nothing crazy. It's not very, movie's not very gory, but it feels like it was dubbed in English, even though they were speaking English. Like, they dubbed over the English because they wanted it to sound a certain way. They found this like beach bum dude who had a boat, and they talked him into the adventure. He just becomes the main character, who I think is sleeping with both of them. I can't tell what's actually
Don't
happening.
know what's happening. Well, he slept with one at least, but
At
the,
least.
the 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 other is up for suspect. Did you know? And I went back to take a look through a second time. Did you know that Hulk Hogan is in this movie?
Terry's not in this movie. He
He
is?
is credited as an IMDb, like it's on his IMDb. He is in this movie, and I looked, and he was supposedly playing Nick, one of the hero like diver people, and I was like, that's
No
not Hulk
way.
Hogan. It's not Hulk Hogan.
Maybe I
So,
gotta. I'm
um,
not watching this again. You know how you were like, man, I had to stop Superman 3 because
yes.
man, I stopped this movie like 4 times, dog,
Oh
over like the course of it.
damn.
I couldn't stay engaged because I didn't know what was happening because it kept changing. Now we're in Bermuda. Now we're in Haiti. Why are we in Haiti for one piece of the puzzle? Okay,
It's
Haiti was beautiful, but I don't know what's happening. Are we still
it's a
trying to find the
world
kid
travel adventure film in a boat.
in a
Like, yeah,
boat?
we're,
Dog.
we're all over the world,
I
man.
don't
We're
know,
doing the
man.
Uncharted thing, like only, Mayan Riviera 1980 style, which is why you got the boat, the sailing, the bikinis. Like, yeah, it's kind of the low budget James Bond thing going on. I can't believe I'm defending this movie
You
as much as I am. That wasn't my intention
Hey,
walking
this
in
is
here
your
tonight,
cage,
but
dog.
damn,
Apparently,
bro.
this is
Like, you know, I,
we're gonna get
I'm
somebody in chat, but BB code, he's gonna roll out, dog. You know, we're gonna get somebody in chat. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. You know, I'm pretty open minded. I'm not just going in trying to be negative. I just couldn't focus on the movie.
How'd
I
you
don't
like
know.
the sharks? The
They were just
sharks, things of
it.
that nature. When
It
you
was
think about
very
Jaws,
it was
like,
very flipper. It was very kind of like 60s, 70s. This is just a real shark. You know, here's footage of a real shark. Okay, there's a reused shot in here that got me every single time, and it's of the dog Scruffles on the bow of the ship, and he's barking at the water, and they
yeah,
reused that shot like 3 times,
yeah.
and I'm like, guys, stop! This isn't stop. Get another shot of the dog. Did the dog not want to get back on the boat, bro? Like, it's so cute if it didn't annoy me. You know what I mean? Like, it's right there on Cage. It's like anti-Cage, dog. It's like it has the charm of Cage, but not the charm of Cage. It's so weird. I don't know what to do with this one.
I guess, and I kind of thought that you'd like this a tad bit more, but the editing, the way it's shot
It's
is the
jarring.
downside of
It's
the
so
movie.
jarring.
Like, without a doubt, like whoever was working the camera and doing that end of it, it's like, yeah, they don't, except the underwater people. They knew what they were
They
doing.
knew
But
they had to.
where
Yeah.
does this rank? Because you are a big, I don't want to just call them B movie, but you are a big B and C movie
I love them.
horror. Like,
Yeah.
you like this type of spoofy, weird stuff. Is it just come down to it was a poorly shot film for you?
I as an exploitation movie, I think this is a exploitation movie, kind of
God,
like
I don't think so.
I like I
Really?
think it's like surf exploitation. It's
We
it's
didn't get
like
nearly the bikinis and what I thought
they
when
were
I
never
saw the cover
enclosed,
of
bro.
this, dude. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were, dude. When I saw the
They were
cover of this,
sexy for sexy
I was
sake, dude.
super. I was shocked at the lack of just pure gratuitous, like, yeah,
I thought we were gonna get
bikinis.
boobs and water, but no, it's pretty tame there. What I will say is my favorite
So,
shot of the movie is when they where the Bimini Angel 2 and the kid were kidnapped on the sub,
yeah.
and she taught him how to share the air. You know what I mean? And they show live footage of a human child underwater. Like you said, lives were risked to make this movie. There's no CG, guys. That was a real child underwater being rescued, and they just filmed it. You know what I'm saying? Like that alone is crazy, and that's like guerrilla filmmaking that they just can't do anymore. And I do applaud that. I'll applaud that.
And that's really when I kind of started turning around on the film, is when I had to adjust my what is it that I'm watching. Not to say
Yeah,
that there isn't action, because we got,
there's
the
action.
we got the helicopters chase, we got the kidnap scene,
The
that
water
kidnap scene,
abductions,
the water abductions, bro.
the
Like,
water abductions.
that's so weak. You look at Star Wars Clone Wars and then you watch these water abductions, you're
It's
like,
like I
bro,
want to
what are
give
we
this
doing?
movie a pass, but you got things like Thunderball and Moonraker and James Bond films
Yeah,
that were in the 60s and 70s that
yeah.
had a more not even money, just like a more creative eye when it comes to this kind of action. So I can't knock it. I can't give it a pass on that. But it just seems like these are a bunch of dudes who are like, let's make a movie. We got all this stuff. We got actors who are down. Let's just do it. That's commendable.
I'm also going to ask you if you think because I'll bring this up in our next film, but when I watch this, it reminds me of a Wonder Woman episode from the 70s.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
is that that's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
the vibe I got. So
yeah.
even when
Charlie's
you're talking about
Angels,
like
Dukes of Hazard, kind of,
150%, folks. So
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
watching this going, what type of movie is that? That is the kind of genre area I put it in. Is it it sounds like one of those 1970s television shows. It feels like it. It cuts like it. The
Cuts
action
like it.
scenes are like it. Even though that helicopter was freaking awesome. You don't see those things anymore, dude. That helicopter, that shot, that was just a two. Come
If it
on,
wasn't
bro.
if it wasn't for that OCD scene, I would have loved that, but that was
Bro.
just making me laugh. I'm like, "What is that? Stop." Like, it's just in a rotation so fast. You gotta rewatch that scene, dog. It's
One of the
crazy.
things that killed me is one of the underwater scenes. There, he's got the bombs on, and
Yeah.
and he goes up, he grabs the bomb, and he's like, "I'll do the old switcheroo," and so he just grabs the bomb. And he's like, "I'm like, no, bro, you don't
That's
just one hand a
that's
bomb and like the
that's
old
not how it works.
switcheroo."
That's not how it
Like
works, man. You're
none
gonna
of
die.
this,
You're just gonna
yeah.
explode, dog. That's your problem. Oh, you just
Uh,
reminded me, like, I
great.
love, like, how their scuba gear communication system is better than anything ever. Like, they're so clear and concise to each other. Like, "Hi, Brad. I'm underwater and I'm looking for this key." And you hear it so clear. It's like when you're underwater, you can't hear anything. Even now in 2026, it will never be that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not Captain Scuba Man, but I'm sure in 1983 the underwater scuba technology wasn't so real where crystal clear verbal communication was just in. That didn't happen in Jaws. You know what I'm saying?
No,
They weren't
man, and you bring up a valid point because the sound quality, that was one of the things I noticed is I can't believe I actually like this film a little bit. I
convincing
had a
yourself.
couple of beers, man. I was like, yeah,
You had
the
a good
Mimimi
time.
go, let's
You
go.
go,
And
baby.
when they were on the boats, the scenes that were shot on the boats, like the sound was all jacked, like the camera make filming was jacked because they didn't have good control systems for that type of for weather. You know what I mean? And so I was like, oh, that's kind of noticeable. That sucks. That's one of the things I take away from this film is it was a pain in the ass to shoot. I
Anything
don't
on the
care what
water
you're
is hard.
saying. I
Anything on the water is hard, man.
Shooting on land is hard, right?
Water is almost impossible. Water
Like,
World literally had all the money in the world and it still failed because shooting on water comes with all types of weird complications, dude.
terrible movie. So, any let me
Any
think. Anything else
any
I
final
got about
thoughts?
the
Any final thoughts
Bimini
about
Code?
Bimini Code, bro?
I think that, and this is kind of a test. Like, had I been in Blockbuster, like walking through and I saw the Bimini Code 1983, there's a chance I would have picked this up and been like, yeah, let me see what this is about. And you know what? I would have been disappointed just from the side of this cover is not
Cover
what
is
this
crazy.
movie is,
No, not
right?
at all. That
This
never
because
happens. It never happens.
it's just not the shark
It's
being
fine.
eaten by someone. Did the shark
That
actually eat
outfit
anyone?
doesn't happen, you know?
No, outfit doesn't happen. So it is very much a technical diver type of a action film. And it
I
was
like
long. It was like an hour 30,
it was
hour
I was
35,
struggling to
man.
get through this
Bro,
movie, bro. I was like, that's why I stopped it like 5 times. I was like, "Man, I gotta do something else. I don't wanna eat while this is all right, I have to watch it. This is content. I have to watch it. All right, space yourself out." Uh, I like that idea, the blockbuster test, right? If I was walking through a blockbuster and saw this cover as a kid, being a horror head, I probably would have passed it by. This is before Laura Croft, Tomb Raider. This is before that kind of movement. But if this was on, like, after Gilligan's Island on, like, a matinee movie special, Channel 7,
yeah.
1990s, 1980s, and it just came on, I would have been kind of oogled by the girls. I probably would have been interested by the water. You know what I'm saying? It probably would have been something I would have watched. Enjoyed, I don't know, but I definitely would have checked it out. You know what I mean? And it's not a complete pass. I don't want to come off like that, but my final thoughts is this was an interesting little movie, man. It kept me guessing it, but anti Cage. Cage kept me guessing, but I was getting hyper the more I was watching. This kept me guessing, but I was just confused the entire time. Like, who is Cobra Commander over here?
I
Why
wish you would have
why is
called me, man. Like, yeah, there's a whole story going on. Yeah,
I had to
dude.
hold it for this, man, because it's
Yeah,
like
bro.
I've been holding
Like,
this for like a week now, dog. I was just like,
damn.
this is what I watched first. And
Yeah,
I
I
was just
wish
like,
you should have called. You could have rewatched it. I could have told you. Like, yeah, it's in there. They give
see?
the entire plot in like 3 sentences, and it's in the middle of the movie, and you're like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Okay, do me a favor, because I got up to get something. Someone rang my doorbell. I got up and missed the complete end of the movie. It took me 39 seconds, and I missed the end. So, spoilers for 1983 Bimini Code. Apparently, the Bimini Code grants us all wishes. It solves all problems. It's like It's almost like a genie in a bottle kind of thing, right? Grants ultimate power, success, and wealth, or something like that. But it didn't end up happening, right?
No, everybody
Because
went home broke.
yeah, because it was like, yeah, the Bimini Code didn't end up being anything, but we had a good time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the movie went off. I'm like, wait, what? What happened?
Yeah,
What
that's
happened to the
exactly what
bad
happened.
guy?
No, that's exactly what
What happened
happened.
to the bad guy? They just left. That's like this movie sucks, dude. I
That's
was tight.
exactly what happened.
I
And
literally,
I was like, that dude on the boat, because he was handing out all that cash. I'm like,
yeah, he already
just
had money. It's good. It's good. It's good. Like, what the fuck? I get up for 2 seconds to go get something from the table or something. And they're like, yeah, man, too bad that was a bust. Yeah, that's crazy. Don't worry, we got money for days. 1,000 years money. And no,
this
this whole thing was a waste of time.
Fades, man.
It,
You
it's
know,
the it's
I'm
not
gonna leave
about
it
the
at that.
cash. It's not about the cash. It's about the Bimini we met along the way.
You know, yeah. Life's an adventure, bro. You
Life's
know what I
it's not
mean?
about the destination. It's about the journey, dog.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. Let's Speaking of putting things, it's time to move on to our second movie of the evening. And all I'm gonna say is banana way, banana way, na na na, banana way, hey, banana. I got my little didgeridoo, dog. Banana way. I watch. What did you walk away from after watching Only the Strong?
What did I walk away with after
Yes, that's
watching
what I
Only the
mean.
Strong?
What did you walk away with?
Um, it and I was when I was putting together my show notes for tonight. This is straight down the middle '90s, and I know that if I sit this down in front of anyone who was born post '90, they're gonna have a hard time understanding. But the
Mhm.
'90s was kind of like this. You
In
know
real
what I
life,
mean? In real life, it was kind of wholesome and like weird and
like
like
cringy, kinda, you know.
cringy kind of. So I think it's straight down the middle '90s action movie, and for me, it very much came across like a made for TV after school film until about the last 30 minutes when things got
It
serious,
goes
right?
crazy, yeah.
It's like, oh shit, yeah, this isn't on after school, right? This wasn't in a theater, so that's what I went away with, like straight down the middle '90s, man. '93. I was a freshman in high school, so this was right in my wheelhouse.
Can I ask you a question? The high
Mhm.
school you went to, was it anything like that high school? The dangerous minds, impossibly horrible high
No,
schools that the 90s
we had
painted?
97 kids in our class. No, there was
I
like
would I
400 kids in the school in total.
Like, even the most gnarliest high schools of LA, mind you, this takes place in Miami. But there are bad high schools. We all knew that bad high schools. Like, you can't go up there. You may just get a fight in the 90s, right? They make these high schools look like it's Mad Max. Like, oh yeah, they're like casually. What with these bars? Oh, the kids just kept throwing themselves off the top, the third story and like splatting on the ground. They got tired of cleaning them up. Like, what? That's not real, dude. Like, that's crazy, bro.
And I'm gonna comment on that. Did you want to read your synopsis?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just went right into it.
Yeah, you're right into it.
Banana-Way,
So
Banana-Way, Na Na Na. Only the Strong, 1993, directed by Sheldon Littich, former Special Forces soldier Lewis Stevens. He does not look like a Lewis Stevens. Returns to Miami to find his old high school invaded by drugs and violence. Um, I I don't want to say I grew up with this movie. That's a weird thing because this wasn't just on in the house all the time. This isn't Surf Ninjas or TMNT. You know what I'm saying? But it's a movie you saw, right? I think they even showed this in class one day. You know, the power of togetherness, the power of friendship type stuff. Until the last 30 minutes, where it just becomes Mortal Kombat, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. Oh, I have a thought. Watch. When I was watching this movie, it felt very Star Wars to me. Very Star Wars to me. Would you like me to elaborate? Or
please,
does
please
that
do.
trigger anything in your mind?
No, please do elaborate because I don't
Okay.
think I got that when I was
So
watching it.
what this movie's about, Lewis Stevens, he is like I said, special forces soldier, and he decides to and he has like a station in what is it, like not Jamaica, but like Venezuela or something like that. Like Brazil,
Yeah, yeah, South America.
South America, like unnamed South America, and he adapts capoeira, which is the fighting style of South America, one of the coolest fighting styles of all time. So he, with his knowledge and his learned capoeira, you gotta hit him with that real quick. He goes back to his hometown and has to clean up his town because the school is just Mad Max. Where I'm getting Star Wars is it's like he's very much like a Jedi in a weird way, you know. He's recruiting children to his cause. He's teaching them a better way. He's showing them the power of self through a form of meditation, which is music. Uh, he's training younglings, and what crazy is what thought is a crazy spin to this movie is that you even get a Sith in this movie. You get the main bad guy, the main the dealer dude. And he's very much Sith. He's trying to, seduction of the innocent. He's trying to lure his little badass little cousin to the dark side of capoeira. And they even have a moment where they're drawing like pentateuchs and freaking like demonic symbols on the ground, and it's evil capoeira. Don't fall to the dark side of capoeira, and they have to like overcome the dark side to bring out the light, and that's how they win. To me, it was screaming Star Wars. I don't know why I thought that. Am I crazy, Wash?
You are a little bit crazy, my friend, but you know what? I am here for it. I'm glad that you're seeing Star Wars in these things, and you're not wrong. I think that that's a good take on everything you said. But yeah, I mean, that's not the eye I was watching it
I don't know
with.
what. You know what killed
But
it? You know, it's like this guy is super evil, right? And of course he does capoeira too. He's the dark reflection of our main character. And then they double down and they have like the Circle Fire evil song. There's the bad guy version. There's the cousin has to understand and learn the dark side of the capoeira. You know, it's like why is he just Obi-Wan, dog? This is crazy.
I can't believe you just did that, and I'll never look at this movie the same now, but it's probably made it better for me. That said, a couple of things that I was a big fan of that first scene when they had metal fences going
It's
down
wild, bro.
for the school. It's like,
Yes.
but again, in the 90s, it was very much drugs are bad, right? You remember your brain on
Dare.
drugs?
Yeah, dare.
This is your brain on drugs, like over and
Any
over and
questions?
over. Like,
Mhm.
so it was really a thing. I thought the fact that there were capoeira gangs, I thought that that was a cool like little thing. That like, no, bro,
No
this is
say.
just a thing. There's
No,
literally gangs. Like,
no
no,
say.
the whole gang just does capoeira, bro.
The
It's like
Yep.
X-Men mutants. Like, whatever. What, yo, bro?
The Brotherhood of Evil the Brotherhood of Evil Capoeira, dog.
So I do very Karate Kid type feel to it. That said, I didn't think it was a bad movie. You know what I mean? It was a for a '90s martial arts movie. Sheldon Littich,
Yeah,
Lionheart. I
love
brought it up
Lionheart.
two weeks ago. He
Yeah,
did the Legionnaire. He did Kickboxer. So it's like this movie is this movie. Those movies, not necessarily, but it definitely fits into that type of atmosphere. The redemption arc of a hero. And I also want to say in the beginning, like you want to talk about things that don't make sense. He's in the army. They give
yep.
him his orders, and then the next thing you know, he's at home. Were his orders to go home and defend his high school?
His orders were to
No.
get up out of there. You saw how his commanding officer was like, "Hey, stupid, put your clothes back on. You're shipping out." And he's just like, "Bye, my South American friends." And he's back at the house, Doug.
But he said your next orders. Those next orders. Those weren't
Is
his
he
orders, man.
secretly AWOL, Doug? Did he secretly go AWOL? So
I
that
was
to get
I
that
was like, is he an undercover person for like, are they
CIA
running
or something?
guns?
Yeah.
Are they running drugs through capoeira through South
Well,
America? And it's like
he did
that.
destabilize the illegal chop shop industry, so that could have been like a psyop or something. I don't know, man.
Also, shout out the chairman, Iron Chef fan. I did not make the connection until AI made the connection tonight when I was
Yes.
putting
Okay.
together my notes,
Full
and I was
stop.
like, what?
Full stop. Mark Dacascos is the realest, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a big Mark Dacascos mark, if no pun intended. So growing up, Mark Dacascos is up there with Jet Li. He was up there with like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. So and him being the chairman of I forgot he was the chairman of Iron Chef for like 10 years,
Yeah,
right?
bro.
And he knows his stuff. He did all his stunts. He was doing the capoeira. He was keeping up with the real capoeira practitioners and stuff like that they had in the movie. So it gave some lividity to it, some legitimacy to it. And like you said, the action is there. The stunts are there.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but in the research, doing the research for it, like the guy who trained Mark was literally like one of the ambassadors who brought capoeira to the United States
I
in
believe it.
general. So it's like this movie has it it's very direct in what it's doing, even though it's different and it's not something you see every day, but it's intended to do that for a reason. So also Frank Dukes was also in this movie. I missed him, but apparently the real Frank Dukes from Bloodsport was in this flick. And
Mhm.
you're like, what? I
Wasn't he
didn't
the
know
Jamaican leader?
I
The one that
missed
got
him.
the one that got in the fight, the very first school fight, where Mark Dacascos had to flex on him with the dreads, right?
No, 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 no. That's a
No,
different dude. No, and I was eyeing up the gang people, like as far as like the supporting cast that I
yeah.
see, that have made it. No, Frank Dukes from like Bloodsport, like the martial artist, was
Oh,
somewhere in the movie, and I missed
oh,
him.
really? He must
Yeah.
have probably one of the friends of Lewis Stevens who was doing capoeira in that last little flourish. Shout outs to the villain of this movie. He kind of eats
Yeah.
every scene he's in. You know, he reminds me of like a King of Fighters character. You know what I mean? He's big dude. Reminds me, he has a lot of machismo. Reminds me like Razor Ramon, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And he's just so goofy. He's like a perfect cringy '90s goofy after school special, not too intimidating villain, and it's perfect. He's perfect in the role.
But he believes in himself. You know what I mean? That's
He's a
where
confident dude.
your Sith like he is full on like, nah, bro, I am the way.
Yeah, and anybody who doesn't understand that will just get defeated. You know what I mean? I love that about him. And he's super chill. He's like, "Look, Santo, you're all right." He whoops his ass, right? You know what, Santo? You're all right. You could train my cousin the basics, but when you want to learn the real stuff for real, you come see me. And he gave him like 9 different passes in this movie. Most gangsters don't
Yeah.
even get. He's like, "Man, you're starting to upset me." You know what I'm saying? Like, but no, Mark Dacascos kept having to push the issue. I almost felt for the guy because he's like, "Look, man, this is how it is. This is how it's gonna be, Chico. You show up out of nowhere. You stealing my product, you stealing my kids. You try to change the youth. I kind of feel for the villain in this one.
Did Mark let him win in that first fight?
No, I think Mark underestimated him.
Oh, okay.
And they were singing the evil. They were singing the Sith
Uh,
capoeira music. It depowered him, and with the blades and shit. Like it depowered him. But once
yeah,
in the final battle, they started like singing the good capoeira music, and that powered him up. And then that's how he beat him in the end. I'm telling you, it's Star Wars shit. Like,
that's
there's a
funny.
funny scene where they just coming back from their little like school vacation at the beach. You know what I'm saying? And they're all hyped up, and they're like, I want to finish it right now. I want to finish it. And they're like flexing on each other, and then they threaten each other with capoeira real quick. And it's so goofy. It's so cringy. And then the cops show up and they're like, all right, all right, all right, all right. Like,
Like,
really? You're flexing. Hey,
don't
hey,
get me started on
hey,
the
don't get me
beat,
started.
bro.
Don't get me started. My jogo was
Yo,
quick. I'll jogo you up out of here, bro. And
clap.
they're like, oh, all right, all right. You have to raise your Ramon it up. I was like, what is happening? This is not happening in the streets of Miami ever.
In fact, I'm going to say in both these films, there was a lack of police presence where there probably should
There
have been a
always
stronger
is.
police presence, except at the end. At the end, cops are everywhere. It was like laid out like Lethal Weapon. It's like,
It
oh,
was
damn, now
seriously
I hear
just
the
Lethal Weapon.
cops.
The cops
Like,
are
what?
nowhere to be found until the
Like,
very end when all the cops show up
yeah.
and everybody's wearing sweaters and like blankets and shit.
Like, what?
Um,
What?
what? And okay, much like Cage, Mark DeCosco was just straight up like unaliving people at the end, wasn't he? He
Oh,
kind of lost his
yeah.
mind. Like that
Oh, yeah.
entire he blew up. He murdered like he took people out in that chop shop, right? Like he was like on a Punisher level, like attack offensive. Because he's like, you forget this guy is actually a special forces soldier
Green
as
Beret,
well.
bro.
Those dudes are hardcore. Like
That's
on
why I
top,
asked if he let him win. Sorry to interrupt, but
no,
that's why I was
no.
asking because he's Green Beret with Capoeira, and it's like, did he just let him win? Like,
It's almost like I'm gonna beat this guy just using capoeira. You know,
ah,
like I could just go into some six CQC Metal Gear Solid stuff and take this guy out immediately, right? Because you would think he knows how to fight other things other than capoeira, but it's almost like he wanted to make a point for the children. Like, no, the light side of the force is the way. I'm going to show you how to beat this guy clean. I'm gonna fight him clean, right? And because it's like, yeah, he kind of turns it on at the end where he's like, against these little poop putt dudes, I'm using I'm like, any means necessary, I'm wiping this out. He was becoming a problem. The whole
yeah.
city was after him at some point. So I don't know. He may have let him win, but I think it's the evil capoeira music that depowered him, Doug.
Do we miss movies like this? Do we
And
miss movies that cringy or not have a morally good high ground and a morally good bad ground versus, you know, where we love to live in our realistic gray?
um, that is an excellently loaded question. Cinema changes with the temperature of the country. So you'll go from goofy 60s love and peace flower children stuff. Vietnam happens, and then you get shit like Last House of the Left, or what I'm saying, like dark, like overly dark films. It starts to lighten up again. Everything's sweet. We're getting goofy, like 90s comedies, and then 9/11 happens, and everything gets dark again. You know what I'm saying? It gets super dark and heavy because we're all freaked out, right? Um, I think in a time of uncertainty, movies like this are welcome to where it's not so heavy. Like I'm so hyped to see He-Man, Masters of the
Nice.
Universe, because it's gonna be dumb fun, like
Yeah.
it's gonna be silly. It's gonna not take itself seriously. And I think those movies have a place in cinema. It doesn't all have to be the Odyssey with Christopher Nolan and big booms and stakes. And no, this is Mandalorian and Grogu it up sometimes. Just keep it simple. Let's keep it light. So these movies have a place. Kids need to cringe out. You know what I'm saying? We adults need to cringe out every once in a while. Make it goofy. Make it a high school special. It doesn't have to cost $100 million to
Yeah.
invoke a feeling, you know? So, yes, I think nowadays, if they were to remake Only the Strong 2, I would be down, man. I mean, why not? Why not just a little nonsense now and then is cherished by the wisest men.
Ah, that's a good quote. I've never heard that. I like it. Very
Yep,
good. I like
yep,
it. So, yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I think that, and for us, it touches nostalgia a bit, but I think that there is something to the after school special, as we put it,
yeah,
that actually made its point. You know what I mean? And this also makes its point. It's about a bunch of kids who don't necessarily like each other for different reasons. They learn to grow, to connect, to, respect their elder. Yeah, and so I think there's a lot of those lessons that, I don't necessarily watch primetime television every day. I don't know that these are the lessons out here, but I surely know that that's not what I'm seeing in any recaps. You know what I mean? The
yeah.
feeling I walked away with after watching this film is very much different than the feeling I've walked away from watching any film like of this decade. Why? Because it's a different message. Like it's shot in a completely predictable good guy, bad guy. The good guy wins at the end, right? Unfortunately, the kid does die, which I just want to be fair, since we are going to be grading these in a moment. This was not a blowaway run for me, right?
Mhm.
As we're pulling, so we don't know where we're coming, but only the strong and the Bimini code for a while were neck and neck for me, and I'm going, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. So I think that this movie I think there's a place for it. Just like there's a place for like PBS television, there's a
Mhm.
place for cringy after school specials that have moral points
Moral
question mark
values, you know?
moral values question mark, you know what I mean? Even if these days you're like, but the drug dealers, the Robin Hood, and the teachers question mark, or whatever the case you want to do, it's like I I think there's some good stereotypes that could be had out of this, like some good, yeah, we all suck. Let's
I
try to be better friends to people that we may not get along with, just
a
for the
lot
hell
of
of it.
a lot of these same problems are problems that kids are having today. You go to any school, there's gonna be drugs. There's gonna
Right.
be gangs, there's gonna be division, there's gonna be disrespect, there's gonna be insubordination, you know? And I think that these messages, if you sat a 14-year-old down and watched this, they'd cringe out of their chair. But I think if they at the end of the day, they may take something away from it, maybe something infinitesimal, but they may take away the idea of, "Let's just get a hobby." You know what I mean? Let's focus ourselves on something that can maybe change us for the better. Black hand shaking white hand. Let's work
Because
together.
essentially the themes are still the same as they always once were.
Yeah.
It's just how it's packaged, you know, generationally as we move on, I guess. But
S-
valid point. I like that.
Same as it ever was. Same as it
Hmm.
ever was. Speaking of which, Wash, we've hit the time of the evening where we have to choose. You must choose. So, after our discussion, which
I
one are you going with? The Bimini Code versus Only the Strong. Who wins this round of random select?
I mean, the Bimini Code wins the cover contest. I didn't even
What?
notice the giant artifact in the back until right
Fucking legends,
now. Like I didn't see
Legends of the
that.
Hidden Temple is in the back, dog.
It's like this is a
you know,
dope movie. Like we spent 20 million on this movie, man. We're
what
bringing
if,
it.
what
Nah,
if it happens, bro? That guy's
that's
Olmec is
um,
not in this movie, dog. Ever. He doesn't show
funny.
up.
My verdict is look, as I said, was pretty close. I enjoyed the Bimini Code after I decided to reevaluate my definition of action, and I
Yeah.
was like, yes, this fits into action film. That said, it was a three or a straight horse race with only the strong until the kid died and we had an explosion. Once that happened, only the strong wound up moving in the lead, and that is who the victor is for me. Is only the strong. Oh,
Absolutely. Um, Back to what we talked about in our first episode. What do we rank these at internally? Is there action? Am I enjoying what I'm seeing on screen? Which is it fun, right? I had my quarrels with Bimini Code, but it was a fun in a old school kind of way, very 70s, very 80s, Bondish action. We got Scuba Gear, check it out, right? But the action as it was very sparse in this movie. Only the strong, uh, trying to keep my childish nostalgia aside, um, had action from the very beginning of the movie. You're getting capoeira, you know, um, expeditions. You're getting people doing flips in the air and hip hop music, and it's just very 90s and goofy. And then the tides turn when they burn down the school, and it just changes. It turns from Saturday morning, this is a special episode of Family Matters, to damn blood sport out of
mm,
nowhere. You know what I mean?
essentially, yes. By the way, that had a $6 million budget. Only the strong.
I believe it. It made a ton of
Yeah,
money from what I understand. And like you said,
yeah,
it brought capoeira to the United States, dude. Like without this movie, you don't get Eddie Gordo in Tekken 3. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And Eddie Gordo, when I first saw Eddie Gordo, I was like, oh snap, only the strong. I remember in Tekken 3, way back in the day,
That's
he's doing
awesome.
he's doing capoeira. Why did I know what that was? Because of Only the Strong. And Only the Strong kind of helped enforce that 90s, action. Mortal Kombat was around the same time. You know what I'm saying? So that, UFC, um, just a bunch of like live action stuff that's going on. So having to choose between these two movies, I have to go with Only the Strong. I gotta go with Only the Strong because when it comes down to it, the action was better. The final battle was great, in my opinion. Sword fighting to hand to hand to inspiring music, to gunfights to explosions. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on in this movie for it
Yeah.
being so cheesy. In the Bimini
Yeah,
Code, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, had the last 30 minutes, had they been able to balance what happened in that last 30, 45 minutes with the front half of the film, like, but we don't do that in the 90s. You know what I
No, we
mean? And
don't.
that's what you
No.
have to understand, like when
Mhm.
you're going through and you're watching this as if you were listening to us, go check out these films. And I recommend you check out Only the Strong. You can skip the code. That's fine. No one's going to hurt you if you skip the code. If you like early 80s diving note, watch the code. But the 90s was that. There wasn't the inner thread of necessarily complexity, complex characters and storytellings with dynamic motivations. Not to say, oh, there weren't any. I'm just saying, in general, most movies weren't written like that, especially action movies.
Especially action movies, especially kids movies, because I would consider Only the Strong
Yep,
a
for
young
sure.
adult movie. It's not. This isn't Delta Force, where cats are getting exploded by like missile launchers.
Yeah,
It's for kids to teach a message to kids, and it's gonna pull his punches a little bit, but it doesn't at the same time. Only a couple of characters have character development in Only the Strong, like I mentioned earlier, the cousin to the main villain who had his Vegeta arc where he was just too badass. You couldn't tell him nothing. He was a big hardhead. Even Mark Dacascos had a bit of a catharsis toward the end because he was just blindly doing what he wanted to do until he realized that that's not working. I'm actually making the situation worse. Now I'm just going to murder everyone. This is kind of he kind of loses his mind a little bit at the end. You know,
it's
then
fine.
it's fine. He goes back. They sing the good song, and he comes back to his senses.
It's.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
sure the
Not
cops are
gonna
like,
know
"Oh,
it. Oh,
you're the good guy. You're cool. Don't worry about it."
okay. I hate 90s endings. Okay, let's get back to it. I hate night because this man should be in cuffs, right? He still
bro.
accosted. I don't care what the villain did. He should be in. And okay, he got his job back, right? He should have never got his job back. He still
No,
cost the life of a child, right?
yeah, no.
You know, he's at the school. They're celebrating him. They let him do a presentation at the graduation. Where's the consequences, dude? Like, he was covered in blood at the scene. Beat this man half to death. Let him go, right? You're that capoeira guy, huh? Yeah. Make a difference, man. No, you should be in jail, bro. None of this makes sense. Badanawe, badanawe,
It's
nandana,
the '90s,
badanawe.
bro. Like, you
Jesus.
know.
Makes no sense, dude. But it's still one of my favorite movies. You know, fine. You get a pass, dude. You get a pass. With that said, we have reached the end of this round of random select. Wash, any final thoughts on either of these movies before we close this bad boy out?
Where is that photo from of Madam X?
I found it on there's
What?
two uh posters for this movie. Uh the poster that's in at the actual slides in this. And I'm like, I've never seen that before. Is this even in the movie? And I don't remember because I can't follow the movie.
That is not in the movie, and I just want to say that I think that that's another '80s movie. Like I've seen that before, which is how come I was like, "What is that?" when we first started,
Bro,
because
if
I was
I
like, "Is
open
that
that
who that
up,
is?"
it says BIMINI code at the bottom, bro.
Really? Yes, that she
Yeah.
was not. That photo was
Hold
not
on,
in the
hold on.
movie. Much like the cover, it's just
It's
not.
just movie
Not
is nonsense,
it.
bro.
It's poor advertising for what the movie
Like,
is.
I'm
It's
gonna
a
pull up.
scuba
Hold on.
diving
I
movie.
just need to see it real quick in my brain. Yeah, but Mimi Code, Madam X, when you play with her, you lose.
Huh?
I
No.
don't know.
No, she was
But
she
that's the person
she
who
was
plays Madam X,
Cobra
right?
Commando. Yeah, she
She
was
had
Cobra
blonde
Commando.
hair with like a little pendant in her chest, right?
Yeah, bro, wearing a black turtleneck.
In the summer.
Like not what we're
S-
seeing here.
No games played with Madam X, dog.
So
She was about that amulet or whatever they were trying to find, dog. It's burnt out. Only the strong is our winner. So next time around, it's gonna be Cage versus Only the Strong, dog.
oh my god.
I don't know how to feel about that. That's
That's
one
gonna
side
be
of the
rough.
bracket's clear. Cage versus Only the Strong, dog. But that's a. I'll let future Michael worry about that. I'll let
No.
future Wash worry about that. We have to talk about the next round, though.
Yeah, I don't even know what we have. So what do we have for next round? I have
For the
no
next
idea.
round of random select, it's going to be Beyond the Call of Duty
Call of Duty.
versus CIA codename Alexa.
Okay, that is going to be a giant question mark. Never seen either
Both
one.
1992. I have no idea what to expect. One may have birthed
Interesting.
one may have birthed Call of Duty, Doug. I don't know. We have to see, you know.
If I feel that way, I'm definitely gonna scream it from the heavens until someone confirms it. I will tweet Treyarch
Hey
forever
guys, is this
until
you? Hey
yeah,
guys,
every
this
day.
you?
You see those tweets day one of whatever asking if I can be in a Star Wars film. That's what it's gonna be. Did you steal this from this like
Did you
B
steal this from
movie
this
Beyond the
B
Code?
movie? Do you owe somebody money? Do you
Yeah,
owe somebody money? You know,
yeah.
bastards. With that being said, Wash, we've reached the end of this episode of Random Select. If you like this content, please like this content wherever you're listening to it on Spotify, on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel so that you're made aware when new content goes live on Masters of the Nerdiverse podcast. And lastly, comment. Are we wrong? Bimini Code heads, rise up. This is probably your only time in this decade to talk about this movie. So show up. I'm definitely making hashtag the Bimini Code in
Yeah.
in the highly ranking search terms, so you guys know we're talking about your flick. Wash, we're here. That's it. With
Good
that being
times.
good times, good movies. With that being said, I've been, of course, your host, Mike G. He's been your host, Wash. We are the Master of the Universe podcast, and I'm going to say MOTN out. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.